Welcome to our channel. Thank you so much for loving and supporting our videos. We want to share something important with you. We read all of your comments and we do our best to respond to your questions and health-related concerns. If you have any health issues or questions, feel free to ask. We're here to help. Now, let's move on to today's topic. Have you ever stopped and really considered why so many men have a deep, almost unspoken desire for one very specific act of intimacy? The act of kissing you in the most private, vulnerable places. For some women, just hearing that question can feel shocking, even uncomfortable. And yet, for countless men, this desire isn't just fleeting curiosity. It's a deep, instinctual drive rooted in biology, emotion, and connection. The truth that most women over 50 rarely hear is that understanding this desire can transform the way you see intimacy, your body, and even your relationship in ways you might never have imagined. I'm Dr. Jocelyn, and I've spent decades working with women navigating life after 50, helping them reclaim not just their health, but their vitality, their confidence, and their ability to experience joy in intimacy. Over the years, I've met thousands of women who carried quiet doubts, feelings of shame, and unanswered questions about their sexual relationships. My mission is simple: to give you clarity, compassion, and medically sound guidance so that you can embrace your sexuality without fear, hesitation, or judgment. The paradox is striking. Many women assume that when a man desires to kiss them there, it's purely about his own pleasure. And yet, research, decades of clinical observation, and real-life counseling reveal a far deeper truth. Men often pursue this intimate act not just to gratify themselves, but as a way to awaken their partner, to connect on a level that words cannot reach, to celebrate her body, and to remind her that she is desired and cherished. This is particularly true after 50, when cultural norms, self-consciousness, and the physical changes of aging can make women doubt their desirability. What I find truly fascinating, and what I often share with my patients during consultations, is that the desire behind this act is overwhelmingly about devotion rather than lust. Men choose this act as a form of giving, not taking. When he takes the time, the care, and the attention to pleasure you in this way, it's a declaration. It is a message that says, "I see you, I appreciate you, I want to give you joy, and your pleasure matters deeply to me." In these moments, his focus is entirely on you, and the emotional satisfaction he derives from that is profound. It's a form of connection that transcends physicality. Biologically, this act is rooted in an understanding men have, often unconscious, of the body's sensitivity. The area in question is rich with nerve endings, more than almost anywhere else, making it extraordinarily responsive to touch. When a man engages with you there, he is not just seeking stimulation for himself. He is actively working to awaken your body, your senses, and your nervous system in a way that is deeply connective. Emotionally, it is intimate, tender, and profoundly masculine all at once. The devotion behind this act is something that most women don't realize, and that misunderstanding can sometimes create tension, shame, or avoidance in relationships. I recall a patient, a woman in her late 60s, who sat across from me in my office, almost embarrassed to speak. She said, "Doctor, I don't understand why my husband still insists on this. He's almost my age, and yet this seems so important to him. Why does it matter so much?" Her question was simple, but the layers of doubt and insecurity beneath it were complex. I held her gaze gently and told her what I'm telling you now. This is never about selfish desire. It's about affirmation, connection, and the unique opportunity for men to express care, attentiveness, and love through an act that is deeply personal and intimate. Men are drawn to this act because it allows them to give in a way that feels primal yet tender. It is a way of saying, without words, that your body matters, that your pleasure is significant, and that even after decades together, he still finds you desirable. And this is where the first transformation begins for women over 50. Understanding that his desire is a reflection of care, not critique, devotion, not judgment. But what about the emotional bond that forms through this act? That bond is often stronger than many women realize. When a man engages with a woman in this intimate way, his focus, attention, and presence create a sense of being fully seen and fully accepted. It's a form of reverence. He is acknowledging your vulnerability, your private self, and expressing that he values and honors it. And when he notices your response, the softening of your body, the change in your breath, the relaxation of your muscles, he feels a profound emotional connection that words cannot convey. This bond can revitalize relationships, particularly in later life, when couples may assume passion has faded or intimacy has diminished. For women, the barrier is often internal. Many feel self-conscious, worried about changes in their bodies, or burdened by the cultural messaging that says sexual pleasure is for the young. Menopause, shifting hormone levels, and the natural aging process bring changes in tissue sensitivity, moisture levels, and even scent. It is normal to notice these changes, but the fear they create can prevent women from allowing themselves to receive pleasure, even from a partner who loves them deeply. As a physician who has walked alongside countless women through these transitions, I want you to hear this clearly. These changes do not diminish your worth, your beauty, or your capacity for pleasure. Yet when women learn to trust that they are still desirable, that their bodies are still capable of giving and receiving pleasure, everything changes. Confidence, not perfection, is the key. When you step into the belief that you are worthy of intimacy, the dynamics of desire shift. Rejection gives way to connection. Distance gives way to closeness. The act of allowing intimacy becomes not just an act of physical pleasure, but a reaffirmation of self-worth, of identity, and of love in the relationship. And the benefits extend beyond emotional connection. There are real physical advantages for women who embrace this form of intimacy. Increased blood flow enhances tissue health, combats dryness naturally, and heightens sensitivity. Oxytocin and endorphin release lowers stress, improves sleep, and even strengthens the cardiovascular system. Pleasure is not just a reward, it is medicine for the body, mind, and spirit. Women who embrace oral intimacy often report increased energy, a greater sense of well-being, and a renewed connection with their own bodies, while their partners feel revitalized by their ability to give and nurture pleasure. Breaking through cultural shame is essential. Many women over 50 grew up in societies where discussions of sexuality, especially female pleasure, were silenced. Words like clitoris, vulva, or oral sex were often never spoken. These silences create barriers, internalized shame and discomfort that can persist for decades. The first step in transformation is reframing. Understanding that intimacy is natural, that pleasure is a gift, and that your body is not something to hide, but something to honor. In my practice, I've seen women weep simply from hearing these words for the first time. Not from sadness, but from relief. Relief that someone in the medical world was finally telling them that what they felt was normal, healthy, and deserved. Self-care, hygiene, and preparation are not about perfection. They are about creating a safe, inviting space for pleasure and connection. Preparation is simple but powerful. A shower, gentle cleansing, grooming if desired, and creating a calm, private environment can shift the experience from anxiety to comfort. Small touches, a candle, a subtle fragrance, soft lighting, help set a tone of mindfulness and intention. These actions signal to both partners that the moment is valued and that both are fully present. When the mind feels safe, the body can respond fully. Intimacy then becomes a shared exploration rather than a rushed or transactional act. The real secret to making this act unforgettable lies in presence and intention. Technique alone cannot create profound pleasure. The magic emerges when both partners are fully present, attentive, and mindful. Slow, intentional movements, attentiveness to breath, and responsiveness to subtle cues transform the experience. Pleasure is no longer a goal. It becomes a journey, a celebration of connection, of mutual respect, and of desire expressed in a way that feels meaningful and alive. Intimacy after 50 is a choice. It is not something that fades automatically with age. Desire and passion are not measured in years, but in openness, curiosity, and willingness to connect. Couples who thrive in later life are those who choose intimacy consciously, who prioritize connection over performance, who embrace vulnerability without fear, and who approach pleasure as a gift to themselves and their partners. Every day presents an opportunity to rediscover joy, closeness, and emotional fulfillment. Communication is a critical component, and one I cannot emphasize enough. Many women and men assume that intimacy should be instinctive, that it should simply happen naturally. Yet, without honest dialogue about fears, boundaries, preferences, and desires, intimacy can stagnate. Sharing concerns, voicing worries, and expressing needs allows both partners to navigate the experience safely and joyfully. Open conversation transforms vulnerability from a source of anxiety into a source of connection and trust. Mindset shapes everything. Believing that intimacy is no longer available to you is a self-imposed limitation. Choosing to engage, to explore, and to embrace pleasure at any stage of life is liberating. It transforms how you see yourself, your partner, and your relationship. Wrinkles, hormonal shifts, and changes in appearance do not diminish your capacity for pleasure. They are markers of a life lived, a body experienced, and a self that is worthy of love and intimacy. As I conclude this, I want you to recognize that intimacy is not a chapter that ends at 50, 60, or even 70. It is a dynamic, evolving part of life that can grow richer, deeper, and more meaningful as time passes. Oral intimacy in particular offers a profound way to reconnect with your partner, to celebrate your body, and to honor your relationship. When approached with presence, care, and confidence, it can transform the emotional, physical, and spiritual experience of love in ways that are extraordinary. The act is not about performance or youth. It is about connection, devotion, and celebration. It is about showing up fully, with trust, courage, and openness. It is about choosing every day to experience love, pleasure, and closeness intentionally. And when you do, you may discover that the best years of passion are not behind you. They are still ahead, waiting to be embraced with joy, confidence, and curiosity. Every woman has the right to claim this intimacy, to receive pleasure without shame, and to experience the profound emotional, physical, and relational benefits it brings. The choice is yours. Step forward with courage, embrace your body, honor your desire, and allow connection to flourish. Age is not a barrier. It is an invitation to explore deeper, more meaningful, and more fulfilling intimacy than ever before.